Hi, I just want to shoot this quick video to discuss your priorities and your options. I caught up with a family yesterday and we were chatting. They're relatively new to the whole sports scholarship process and had spoken to a couple of agents, and what they realised was that there was lots of different options, lots of different opportunities, and as we sort of got into a discussion around what they were looking for their children, it became clear that there's, depending on your sports, there can be a lot of clear pathway. Hi, I caught up with some parents yesterday who are relatively new to the sports scholarship research process, and it really sort of reinforced the value of the 30-day game plan that we had put together, or that we have put together. And if you want more information on the 30-day game plan, you can click on the link in the description to this video. And basically that game plan is designed to fast track you through the end-to-end process that is applying for a USA Sports Scholarship. There's a lot of detail, there's a lot of complexity. It's not hard, but it's about having a process that you can follow, because in this discussion with the parents yesterday, what became clear to them throughout the process is there's lots of different pathways and options for you as parents and you as a student athlete to get over to the States and give yourself the opportunity to have the experience that you're looking for. And that experience will be based on your priorities. Is your priorities primarily academic, getting into a particular type of college or a particular college to get a degree because the degree with that college name behind you means something in the field that you're looking to go into from a career perspective? Or is your priority around your sports? So you've got some high ambitions around your sports, but you want the fallback safety net of having your degree, and you want to put yourself on the map as far as getting into the States and playing at a high level in the States? Or is your priority around the whole experience, the whole package, the person that you become along the way, sort of in this journey of sort of discovery and planning and trying to get yourself a sports scholarship and then achieving that and then going over to the States, and the person that you become in the process, the experiences, the stories, the value that adds, which is the whole package. Now, everybody gets something different from the experience. Everybody gets the whole package if you go over, but your journey and experience could be very, very different depending on the choices that you make. Or the reality is your process or journey through the sports scholarship application process and the search and selection process, speaking with coaches, it's not a guaranteed success story for everybody. Lots of people don't get the offers that they're after, or may not get an offer. That doesn't mean that you don't get a lot of value from the experience of going through the journey. And that's something that we've found in our own experience going through the process with our older daughter Georgia, who's currently in the States on scholarship, and our younger daughter, who's a couple of years behind her, now going through that process of creating a profile and putting herself out there. That experience alone is worth the price of admission, assuming you're not paying too high a price. And we'll cover off on agencies and that sort of thing a little bit later when we go into sort of more detail in our 30-day game plan about how you can maximise the relationship with the recruitment agency if you're with them, and making sure that you're not solely reliant on the recruitment agencies as we were in our case with Georgia when she first went through, and basically we didn't get anywhere near the result we were after through the agency and had to go it alone at the last minute. So our word of caution is, regardless of the process you're taking, make sure you take ownership of the process. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a video series, excuse me, going through our checklist. And if you want to get access to our checklist, just go to the link in the description, depending on where you're watching this, whether it's above or below the video. Click on that link and you can grab some more information about getting hold of our athlete's guide, our checklist, and that'll help keep you on track, as well as getting access to our 30-day game plan, obviously. So depending on your sport, you may have thousands of options open to you through multiple different sporting governing bodies. So there's 3 sporting governing bodies, if you haven't already sort of looked into this. There's the NCAA, there's NAIA, and I'll go through all these independently or separately in later videos, and also the NJCAA, so junior colleges. So they will be made up of 4-year colleges and 2-year colleges if it's a junior college. Now, depending on the sport that you're in, like if you're in, basketball for men or women, if you're in baseball for men, softball for women, soccer, there's lots and lots of options through all the different divisions. So there's lots of different pathways based on how good you are academically, how good you are sporting wise. But if you're in, say, men's volleyball, for example, the opportunities that are available to you narrow dramatically. Or if you're in an emerging sport like beach volleyball, then the opportunities narrow dramatically. So you need to sort of do your investigation and look at whether you're swimming in a big pond with lots of opportunities and different pathways to get to what you want, or whether you're in a relatively small pond with a lot of competition and a smaller list of options or opportunities available to you. So one of the things, ideally, if you've got really strong academics, you're really sporting athletically or in the sport that you're in, whether it's team sport or whatever, that's going to open up the most opportunities for you. Some opportunities, the reality is they just may not be an opportunity for you. If you're looking at Division 1 basketball, for example, the competition is really high. You really need to be at the top of your game. You need good academics and you need to be really strong as a player. But if you're not quite there, then Division 2, junior college, NAIA may be really, really good options for you, particularly if you're a strong athlete but your academics are letting you down, then or not quite as strong as they need to be to get into a Division 1 or a Division 2 school, but athletically you're there, then there's different pathways that you could potentially be taking. And again, some of these options will be limited by your financial ability to service whatever education costs come with it. And as an international athlete going overseas, there's always a cost. So you need to sort of be realistic about what's affordable to you and what's not, and things can come and blindside you, like big fluctuations in exchange rates can add significantly to your projected costs. If your currency weakens against the US dollar, what you thought you were paying could go up 10 or 20% over the course of 12 months. So you need to be aware of these sorts of things, but again, depending on where your priorities are or where your restrictions are, will really dictate the realistic opportunities for you. So what I'm going to do over the next few weeks is just go through our checklist, go into a bit of a deep dive in a whole range of different areas, and that'll help give you some perspective around why you're going over there, what are the challenges that you might face, what are the self-imposed restrictions on you, be it through your sports, be it through your academics, or financial restraints. Everybody's got a limit, everybody's got a budget. So what are those lines in the sand for you that if you hit those ceilings, that you simply either need to take a different pathway, right? So you need to change your priorities, or there'll be some compromise in there somewhere, or you need to say, you know what, this opportunity is just not for us. And that doesn't mean that if you're staying at home and studying, that's not a perfectly good option. It's just a very different option to going to the US, and there's some significant advantages to going to the US, so we'll deep dive into those. but it's understanding your why, your reasons for wanting to go, where you see the value, and what sacrifices you're prepared to make. From a parent's perspective financially, from a student's perspective, what are you prepared to give up along the way to achieve your goals, right? If you really want this, what are you prepared to do academically to make sure that you get your grades up to in excess of what the minimum requirement is to get you into the college that you're after, or the division that you're after within, say if it's NCAA, what are their minimum requirements? If it's NAIA, what are their minimum requirements? Then from there you need to look at what are the academic requirements for the colleges that you're targeting, because they can be different again. So these are the sort of things that we'll cover off on in a little bit more detail. If you want to dive straight into the process and get everything covered off for you in detail over the next 30 days, then our 30-day game plan is going to be a great option.